You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry, ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can chill with me on each and every one of my new videos. Now, this outfit might seem a little random, but we got horror and then we got games. You see what I'm going for here? You see? I forget that mess. Forget that mess. Let's get to the damn movie, huh? Escape Room Tournament of Champions is the sequel to the sleeper box office hit Escape Room that finds 6 unwitting participants captured yet again in a sequence of escape rooms that also serve as death traps. But this time, all of our contestants have previously won their singular game and now find themselves having to live through their worst nightmare yet again. Now, Escape Room actually got kind of like this. Now, Escape Room did get these kind of surprisingly positive takes upon release. Some people thought it was much better than it had any right to be, that it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I was not one of those people. I did not really enjoy the first Escape Room. I thought the premise was cool. I thought there was some fun escape room traps in there, but the overall execution left something to be desired. However, whether you liked the film or didn't like it so much, I think we all universally agreed that that cheap cash grab of an ending almost ruined it across the board. So, needless to say, I wasn't very excited to revisit this world, to revisit this premise, but alas, here we are. Cheap horror movies making a decent amount at the box office, 9 times out of 10 equals sequel time. The Tournament of Champions is not even quite as good as the first one. And as I just said, I didn't really like the first one. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I want to start off with that box office money because I think it was actually used in creating the sequel, because production value across the board was elevated this time, including camera work, the direction. Everything looked more polished. Cinematography was nicer. The set pieces were much bigger and more elaborate, with some fun ideas that didn't get great execution, but at least the traps had like this riddle type of feel to them. I also think Taylor Russell and Logan Miller are really endearing in the 2 lead roles, which is saying something because my introduction to Logan Miller was Love, Simon, and he is in that movie. But here, he's actually quite endearing, and I found their connection and relationship endearing as well. And as we move throughout the story, they do a good enough job at making you want these people to survive these escape rooms. You want to see them make it out. You want to see them get to the end and stick it to this horrible company. Also, it's short. It's under an hour and a half total. So that's a positive. But that's kind of all I have when it comes to the positives in this one. Unfortunately, there was a lot that I just didn't really like. So let's go ahead and get into the negatives. First of all, this film comes in with the presumption, one, either that nobody actually watched the first film, or two, at the very least, nobody bothered to ever rewatch it. They forgot all about it because we spend a good chunk of the beginning of the first act just recapping the last film. A full-on montage, a full-on series recap of last season, and it was really kind of cheap to me. These films do kind of feel like lighter type of Saw movies in many ways. Because let's face it, the premise behind Saw is basically torture versions of real life escape rooms. So a horror franchise about escape rooms is going to draw those parallels. I just wish they hadn't drew that parallel to the Saw films, where we have to just rehash the films that came before. And then when we get into it, this script is terrible. It is so bad. Our characters are constantly just yelling out the most obvious things that they could possibly say in every situation. The writer and director have literally zero faith that the audience can keep up or figure out literally anything in the film, like opening a door or pulling on this lever. No, the characters have to narrate and yell it out. Also, the entire premise and the games themselves are asinine. The idea behind getting these people back together is pretty much non existent. They just say, hey, this is what we're doing, and you're going to deal with it. It's like, what? How did this even happen? And how did they create these games? I mean, yes, they are elaborate, but they are nuts. And you're just like, what is going on? And sad to say, the other acting outside of our two leads is not great. I was so happy we had a trans actress of color in one of our leading roles here, and she's gorgeous, but performance was just okay. Holland Roden probably gives the better of our side character performances, and even she's also just okay. Then we have Carlito Olivero, who looks good, let me tell you. But oh my gosh. Oof. He needed to talk a lot less and just look good because it wasn't working. And then the script with the logical fallacies within the games and with how everything operated was just through the roof, off the charts. And it all leads to an ending that is even worse than the original ending, which is saying a lot because that original ending was terrible. It is just as cheap as the first ending and makes even less sense. It is so obvious, first of all, what is happening and the direction we're going to end this film on. But again, it just makes zero sense, including a decision made by one of the protagonist characters that is there in the end. It is the weirdest, most illogical decision and idea that they could have had. And it's really hard to leave feeling positive at all about the film because that third act is just so over the top, ridiculous, and stupid that it just leaves a really bad taste in your mouth coming out of the theater. So overall, Escape Room Tournament of Champions is a step down from the first. It actually makes the first feel like a whole lot more fun than it originally did. We don't get a sense of grander contestants. It doesn't feel like the catching fire to our Hunger Games in this battle royale type of scenario. Instead, it just feels like another game on another day with a slightly higher budget and an even worse script. So if you liked Escape Room and you are looking for some escapism, whether it be from a mundane summer or the extreme heat that has been going across the country, then I would give this maybe a matinee. Otherwise, if you're just a general horror fan, wait to rent this one when it comes to Redbox or hit streaming. So that is my review for Escape Room Tournament of Champions. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, make sure to join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Escape Room 2? And of course, what did you think of the first one? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.